Greetings, and welcome to the Well-Read Monocle. I am your guide through the labyrinth of literature. Today, we are not merely reading a book. We are entering a structure. We are discussing House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski. You may have heard rumors about this text, that it is a horror story, a love story, or a satire of academia. It is all of these, and none of them. It is a book that requires you to turn it upside down, read backwards, and decode footnotes that spiral into nothingness. It is a difficult beast, but fear not. I have walked the hallway so you don't have to. Let us dismantle the house, brick by brick. To understand this book, we must understand its architecture. It is a story within a story within a story. Section 1. The Outer Frame. Johnny Truant. Our first narrator is Johnny Truant, a drifting tattoo shop apprentice living in Los Angeles. Johnny's life is a blur of drugs, late nights, and a desperate obsession with a stripper he calls Thumper. Johnny's reality fractures when his friend Lude leads him to the apartment of a recently deceased old man named Zampano. Zampano was blind, reclusive, and seemingly mad. Inside his flat, Johnny finds a trunk filled with a chaotic manuscript, loose papers, napkins, and scraps, all covered in writing. This manuscript is a comprehensive academic study of a documentary film called The Navidson Record. Here is the catch. Johnny discovers that the Navidson Record does not exist. There is no film. No director named Will Navidson. Zampano wrote hundreds of pages analyzing a phantom. As Johnny attempts to edit these notes, the fiction infects him. He stops sleeping. He senses a presence, a beast, stalking him. The darkness of Zampano's story begins to bleed into Johnny's world, leaving him questioning his own sanity. Section 2. The Navidson Record. The manuscript itself, the core of the novel, tells the story of Will Navidson, a Pulitzer Prize-winning photojournalist. Seeking to heal his relationship with his partner, Karen Green, and their 2 children, Navidson moves the family to a quiet home in Virginia. The address is on Ash Tree Lane. He sets up cameras to document their domestic life, but the house refuses to be domestic. It begins with a geometric impossibility. Navidson measures the house and finds that the interior is exactly 1/4 of an inch larger than the exterior. It is physically impossible. Then, a door appears where no door should be. It opens into a dark, cold hallway. A hallway that exists inside the house, but leads nowhere outside. It is the 5.5-minute hallway. Navidson, driven by his explorer's instinct, investigates. The hallway changes. It grows. It becomes a vast, sunless labyrinth of grey walls and spiral staircases, descending miles into the earth. It is freezing, devoid of sound, and it shifts when you aren't looking. Section 3. The Expeditions and the Madness. Navidson assembles a team. His estranged twin brother Tom, a carpenter, Billy Reston, an engineering professor, and a team of professional explorers, led by a man named Holloway Roberts. This is where the book becomes a harrowing survival horror. The team descends. The house creates a psychological pressure cooker. Holloway, the seasoned hunter, begins to crack. He becomes convinced there is a beast in the maze. Consumed by paranoia, he eventually turns on his own men, shooting his colleagues before wandering into the darkness to take his own life. The house then turns on the family. In a chaotic escape, Navidson's brother, Tom, often dismissed as the fool of the family, becomes the hero. He saves Navidson's daughter, Daisy, as the house literally swallows the room they are standing in. But the cost is high. The floor drops away, and Tom is lost to the abyss. His final words to his brother are a heartbreaking reassurance. "I'm okay. I'm okay." Section 4. The Return and the Redemption. The family is shattered. Karen takes the children and leaves, but Navidson cannot let go. He returns to the house alone, determined to solve the riddle or die trying. He enters the labyrinth with supplies and a book, a copy of House of Leaves itself, creating a paradox where he reads the story of his own demise. He proceeds deeper than anyone has ever gone, eventually floating in a boundless void, lighting matches to see the darkness. But he is not saved by understanding the physics of the house. He is saved by Karen. Karen, who suffers from crippling claustrophobia, returns to Ash Tree Lane. She conquers her fear, entering the dark house to find him. In a moment that defies the bleak logic of the labyrinth, her voice reaches him. She rescues him from the void. They escape, and the house dissolves, or perhaps it simply ceases to matter. Section 5. The Contrary Evidence. Now a lesser book would end there. But Danielewski has one final trick. Near the very end, in Appendix 3, we find a section titled Contrary Evidence. Here the book presents footnotes and citations that undermine everything we've just read. It lists conceptual models of the house, magazine articles calling the story a hoax, and essays suggesting that the entire Navidson Record was merely a piece of performance art or a manipulation of film stock. It forces us to ask, was the house real? Was it a collective delusion? Or is the contrary evidence just another layer of the labyrinth designed to throw us off the scent? We are left with Johnny Truant. In the end, he finishes the book. He loses his job, his flat, and perhaps his mind. He drifts away, much like Navidson in the void. But the final word of the book does not belong to Johnny, or Zampano, or Navidson. On the very last page, there is a poem titled Yggdrasil. What miracle is this? This giant tree. It stands 10,000 feet high, but doesn't reach the ground. Still it stands. Its roots must hold the sky. Yggdrasil, the mythical world tree, an ash tree. It suggests that this house, this terrifying void, is perhaps the structure that holds up our reality. It is the darkness that defines the light. House of Leaves is not just a horror story. It is a love story about how we navigate the darkness within us. Whether the house is real or a metaphor for depression and madness, the solution is the same. We cannot survive the labyrinth alone. Thank you for joining me on this expedition. If you found this summary illuminating, do subscribe to the Well-Read Monocle and ring the bell. After all, you never know when the hallway might shift again. Until next time.